Hello there, well we're off today to conduct a woodland burial. More about this when we get there. So this is something that most people don't know is an option. If you live in the UK, it is completely legal so long as you follow the right steps to conduct your own woodland burial. In fact, I've been a celebrant and a funeral director for a considerable period of time, all the way back to the very end of the 1990s. So this is one of the things I do I don't talk about much. So here you can see the hole has been pre-dug, the planks are there for people to stand on, and that's how the body got there. It was actually transported in the friend's van, and this wonderful guy Paul went to all the trouble to do just the right thing for this family member, because the family member wanted everything very simple and they wanted to be out in nature, away from civilization. This is all that they wanted, and this is exactly what we've been able to organise for him. And we did it very, very simply indeed. So when we arrived, the hole was dug, the body was collected from the morgue, and Paul did that himself, and he wrapped the body in calico, which is a white material which you saw when it was lying there in the bottom of the grave. And then literally once the body was put in there, I should give you a bit of detail about the mechanics. It's not totally straightforward. What we did is he was actually on a stretcher, so we put the stretcher out of the van onto the land just before the hole, and then we got a couple of lorry straps. You could use ropes, the same thing work, and you pass these straps underneath the body with plenty of space, about sort of 8 feet of rope or strap on either side. And when that was passed underneath, just under the shoulders and under the knees, that is the right location, when you've done that, then you take the straps off the stretcher and you lift the body with the lorry straps or the ropes. You pull the stretcher away, you carry the body over to where the hole is, and you just gently lower the ropes into the hole. And it went so perfectly, so straightforwardly. So this image is just to show you what it's like when you're involved with a woodland burial. Now either this means you own the land, or you know someone who's given you kind permission to do so. And if neither of these are possible, what you can do is you get onto the online and you have a look for natural death centres. Now there are natural death centres and woodland burial grounds all over the country, and a number of farmers have chosen to take this on as an extra livelihood, and they dedicate a piece of land to that particular function, and they provide you with your basic facilities. The hole's already dug when you arrive. There's usually a building where you can go and hold a celebratory service for the person who's passed, whether it's going to be humanist or religious, that's totally up to you. And then you bury the body in the way that I've described, and then everyone joins together to fill the hole in, and there's a sense of completion you don't get any other way. So now the hole is mostly filled at this point, so now what Paul's done, he's bought a tree. This is a lovely wild flowering cherry tree, so we're now getting the tree into the right location, and finally the extra soil is going to go in there until the grave is completely covered. Now because there was an issue with this location, we didn't manage to get enough soil, despite the fact that soil was displaced for the body. So what we ended up doing is using all the stones that were dug up from the actual excavation, and we put those on the top. But generally speaking, and certainly when you go to a place that you're paying for that facility, you'll find there's a big enough pile of soil that you can cover the grave and then give a nice mound on top, because you are going to get sinkage and subsidence within about 6 to 18 months. That level will drop down, so you need to do something about that. And this is just to show you what a beautiful location. This guy's a fisherman, and there's a river at the bottom of the land where the burial is taking place, and he's orientated the burial plot within sight line of the river, being such a keen trout fisherman as indeed he was in his life. And the other important thing is we had a fire afterwards, an outdoor fire, and we spoke and we listened to Paul telling us about this extraordinary person, his amazing life. Throughout his life, no doctor for 47 years, right at the very end he went into hospital, took no drugs from them whatsoever, and passed very simply and peacefully, a life outside the system. So it's quite appropriate that's where he should be buried. So this is it. If you're interested in taking this further, then do look at the links we've got. And I'm someone that does perform these funeral rites, and I am a funeral director Right, this is the point I'm trying to make. I want to be really clear about this. In the UK, the way you become a funeral director is you do this. You say to yourself, I'm a funeral director. From that moment you've done that, you find out what's involved and you do all that's necessary. So in the case of, for example, my father's funeral, my mother felt very similarly. She didn't want to get involved in the death industry. We did the whole thing ourselves. It wasn't the first funeral I've officiated at, but it was obviously a very big one in my life, and so I obtained a compressed paper coffin. He didn't want a conventional coffin. He did want a conventional church service in the Anglican church, which we did provide. That's what he wanted, that's what he got. Then after service it was off to the burial site, and there was a room where all photographs and other artifacts celebrating his life were placed. All the family crowded into this space and we all spoke about Henry, and just took a little time to do that. Then it was out to the practicalities, body in the ground, filling in the hole, and it was such a satisfaction to see my young nephew, aged 10. He had more stamina than all the rest of us put together. He was one of the ones that took hold of the shovel first. We had several shovels, and he was shoveling when other people were exhausted. So much blessings to you on that one, Angus. So it brings a family together. It does something very transformative in terms of the process of letting go of that person's existence physically and knowing that they continue in a non-physical capacity. They've let go, and I'm so glad that the guy that we buried did let go so perfectly. So no psychopomp work was required, no drugs were being taken by him either before or during the hospital visit. That made it really nice and safe, so nothing to do there. And you're not part of the sausage machine, you're not part of the system. You're actually taking a step out of it and returning your body from whence it came, which is Mother Nature herself. So this might be the beginning of your investigation, and Paul is very keen to promote this work and to let people know you can do it yourself.